So, how does all the chaos and conflict of a nation actually get captured on a theater stage? Well, today we're diving into exactly that. We're looking at Restoration drama, this brilliant, often pretty scandalous theater that was born out of the wild and turbulent world of 17th century England. But to really get why this was such a huge explosion of creativity, you have to picture the silence that came right before it. See, under Oliver Cromwell's Puritan rule, theaters were literally shut down. Life was supposed to be stern, sober, and super strict. But when the monarchy came back, whoa, it was like a cultural dam just burst. All of a sudden, England was flooded with this massive craving for parties, for spectacle, and for art. So let's start there, with that incredible cultural whiplash. We're talking about a nation that swung from total austerity to this brand new age of artistry, almost overnight. And this is the year that changes absolutely everything, 1660. King Charles II, after being in exile for years, finally returns to the throne. And you have to understand, this wasn't just a political change. It was like someone hit a giant cultural reset button for the entire country. And what a reset it was. Charles brought back with him this sophisticated pleasure-seeking culture he'd soaked up in the French court. His own court immediately became the trendsetter, a dazzling hub for clever jokes, over-the-top fashion, and most importantly, a source of cash and support for artists. The vibe for the entire era was set right there in the palace. Okay, so everyone's celebrating, but underneath all the spectacle, a deep political tension was brewing. And that brings us to this ongoing power struggle, this real tug-of-war between the king and his government. Now, you gotta remember the context here. The English Civil War was still a fresh, very traumatic wound. So while people were happy to have the king back, Parliament was absolutely determined to never, ever be ignored again. The whole idea of a king with total, absolute power, that was done. A new kind of uneasy partnership was being figured out. At the very heart of this conflict was this concept, the royal prerogative. These were the traditional, almost God-given rights that everyone believed the king just had. The entire political drama of the age was basically this huge debate over where the king's rights ended and where Parliament's power began. And Parliament wasn't just talking about it. They were making moves. They were passing actual laws. You had things like the Test Act, which basically barred non-Anglicans from public office, and the Habeas Corpus Act, which was huge. It protected people from being unlawfully thrown in jail by the king. They were building, piece by piece, the foundations of a monarchy with real limits. Let's peel back another layer of conflict here, because politics wasn't the only thing people were fighting about. Religion was a massive source of tension and anxiety all across the nation. It was a real battleground. I mean, the whole religious scene was just deeply split. On one side, you had the official Church of England, which had just been restored and was trying to lock down its total authority again. But on the other side, you had all these dissenters, Puritans, Catholics, other Protestant groups, who absolutely refused to conform or shut up. It really was a high-stakes struggle for the very soul of the country. And what's crucial to get is that this wasn't some friendly, theoretical debate. These laws had real-world consequences. They created this atmosphere of suspicion, of secrecy, of actual persecution. And that forced writers, and just regular people, to wrestle with these really complex questions about faith, loyalty, and what's right and wrong. All right, so with all that political and religious turmoil swirling around in the background, let's zoom in on London, because this is where a new, pretty daring cultural scene was taking off, led by a wealthy and very worldly elite. This is where the action was. You had these buzzing coffee houses, which were basically the new internet, the hubs for debate and news. You had witty salons in the homes of the rich, where trading clever insults was basically a competitive sport. And of course, you had the theaters, freshly reopened and packed with audiences who are hungry for something new and exciting. And this quote just nails the whole vibe of the time. For the upper crust, life itself felt like a performance, a nonstop show of your wit, your fashion, your social climbing. And the new plays of the era, they held up a mirror to that performance. And believe me, that reflection often had a very sharp, very satirical edge to it. Which brings us right to our final section, where we're going to tie all these threads together and see how Restoration drama became this perfect mirror for its incredibly complex and fast-changing world. It's amazing, really. You can draw a straight line from what was happening in the country to what was happening on stage. That tension between the king and parliament, it inspired all these plots full of political intrigue and power grabs. The religious anxiety, it fueled dramas that got deep into questions of morality and hypocrisy. And that witty, show-off aristocratic culture, well, that gave birth to the era's signature genre, the sharp satirical comedy of manners, which put the lives of the rich and powerful under a hilarious and often pretty brutal microscope. So really, the main takeaway here is this. The art from this period isn't just a side effect of history, it's a vital record of it. The plays of the Restoration give us this direct, unfiltered look into a nation that was grappling with these enormous questions about power, about faith, and about what it even meant to be English. And that kind of leaves us with one last thought. The Restoration stage reflected its society with brutal honesty and incredible wit. So it makes you wonder, if theater and film and art are still a mirror for us today, what are the defining works of our time going to say about us a few hundred years from now?